to the Spicy Booknook, where we discuss all of our favorite and not so favorite dark and dirty book series. We're your hosts, Aj.
And Tay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today we will be reviewing the Never King series by Nikki Crowe. Please be aware there will be spoilers and explicit content for mature audiences only. The trigger warnings for this episode include mental illness, smoking, graphic and rough sex in public, group sex, dub con, graphic violence, graphic language, captivity, degradation, submission, bondage and ropes, spanking, blood play, choking, CNC, and talk of sexual assault.
Oh, Lord. What a list.
Girl, a list. Had to take.
Okay, so
Hey, y'all.
let's see here. All right. So, first, what would you rate this series?
I rated it a 5. Maybe I'm just like overly in love with the book, but yeah, it got a 5 for me.
I would also rate it a 5. For those of you who aren't familiar, this is the Never King series. So just a brief overview. It's pretty much like a dark adult Peter Pan retelling. So I didn't know that I was into that. Apparently I am.
Yeah, same. Because I think one of the biggest reasons for me is because I've never seen Peter Pan. And so because I'd never seen Peter Pan, this was my Peter Pan. And we're
Yeah,
all
I also have never, as a kid, I never like watched Peter Pan or anything. So I wasn't sure how I was going to like this series. And as soon as I read the first book, like I was hooked. I was completely hooked. This is probably one of my absolute favorite series.
it's just it I don't know. She just did it so perfect. It got a good storyline. It's a descriptive storyline. The characters are just hot as hell. And I mean, she did a great job with getting my interest, especially with the first book and the fact that all books were so short. Like all the books were super short. And so it was easy to grasp my attention, and then it was just a good story overall. I completely enjoyed it.
Very easy to just read this book in a couple hours. Not even.
Literally, I think when I looked at it on the audiobook, it said it was only like 4.5 hours to read the first book, and I was like, oh, that's super easy. Like that only going to take a couple hours to read that book. So yeah, it's super easy read. I just read them all literally in like 2 days. So
So pretty much it's like Peter Pan has lost his shadow and he's looking for it. And in order to find it, he pretty much kidnaps darlings on their 18th birthday, and he pretty much holds them in Neverland, and he tries to look through their memories to of the darling bloodline to find his shadow. And so normally this is supposed to be like a terrifying experience, but we have Winnie, who right off the bat was like, I'm being kidnapped in a house full of men. Like, she,
this is a
she,
dream.
yeah, like she immediately was very intrigued.
Well,
Like,
because
she
it's
did
like,
not have the the
well,
reaction that I think they thought she was going to have.
she was always like a little bit, she always said like she went after what she needed, not like she just wasn't just promiscuous because she wanted to be with boys. She'd like needed a ride to school or something, so she would sleep with somebody. So she always had this like, need to be like just herself. And she's she's very much herself in these books. Like I feel like she came out like with her mom having the mental illnesses because of like her experience at Neverland, kind of gave her like this interest in Neverland on like what are they doing to my family to make them this crazy that I have to suffer through crazy stuff. And then like when I get there, I'm like, they got me chained to a bed and they're all sexy and shirtless. Like what are they doing to these people out here? Are they touching on my ancestors or what? Like I think she had some kind of interest in like what they were doing exactly. And so
Like,
I heard Pan like say like, "Don't touch the darlings," and then she was like, "Huh?"
and especially because like you got to think about it. Like she gets kidnapped, and then like you said, she wakes up in this house with all these sexy men, and they're walking around half naked, and she's like, "Wait, I'm supposed to be scared? Like this is supposed to bother me?" Like I feel like Winnie's hormones were just raging at that point, and she's just like, "Oh, y'all gonna chain me to a bed? Like, okay, go ahead, chain me to a bed." Like she was like not taking this serious at all.
At all. Like, girl was like, "Okay, Peter Pan is a fairy tale to me, and you know what? I'm in fairy tale world, and I'm running wild." Because she was on it from the start. Like, I believe, who was she trying to get with first? I think it was Bash,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not even messing with you."
And then when she messes with Cash,
Um,
then Bash is like, "How you gonna fuck my girl? Like you knew I was trying to fuck her, but I wasn't gonna fuck her because we had rules that we couldn't fuck her, and then you ended up fucking her."
right. And so all the boys were like, "Yeah, so um, we are all gonna fuck her except for one, and that's Vane. And Daddy Vane, I mean,
That man, oh, that man. I literally just, that man. That man.
is that your favorite out of all the boys? Because there's
He
one.
is my favorite. Like, marry one, fuck one, kill one. Like, I'm marrying Bane. I'm gonna marry him. I would, oh, I mean, I would feel bad killing Cash or Bash because they're really sweet.
I'm like, who are you gonna kill? I'm like, wait a second, hold on, we're not killing none of them.
But so, if somebody has to go, then
Take me, okay? After I have my time with them, give me a moment. Like, we're not giving up any of these
I
men.
would have to think. But Vane would
Uh-oh.
definitely like marry. That would be my husband because that's just that's just how that would go. He very
No,
much was like not trying to give Winnie any fucking attention. And I will say, in the beginning, Winnie was trying really hard. Like she was overdoing it. And so I can see why in the beginning he was just kind of like, okay, like this girl coming in here, she just trying to like floss her cat around and wanted all to
to
fuck
everybody.
her, and like he just really wasn't feeling it. She was just doing a little too much for him, and that I
Not
understand.
flash.
I understand. I think her hormones were just going a little crazy, and she thought he was gonna be same because obviously Pan was into it. Pan was like, "You could fuck me any day. I don't care." Like he was ready to go, and Bane
One
just
thing
mm-mm.
about this book that I liked is that Pan was a watcher. Pan was like, "Get my girl in every position and let me watch."
Literally he like he fucked Winnie, a couple times, but he was more like, "I want to watch y'all pleasure her, and I'm gonna just sit here and just like watch her be pleasured." Like that was like his thing. Like he just wanted to watch her be pleasured. I was like, okay,
Yeah, he gave off a good big gray sweatpant vibes when he did that. Like,
definitely.
whew. Okay, so the first book, I guess we can talk about like who Vane is and like the Fey Princess, Cass and Bash and Pan. So we talked about Pan and his shadow, like him getting his shadow back, but like his lost boys are Vane, which Vane is from what island is he from? I forgot.
Darkland, I believe.
Darkland. So Vane is from the Darkland, and he's just just a dark individual. He is like very closed off, and that's why like Winnie's trying really hard to get his attention because one, he's fine as hell, and then two, she's like, I can fuck anybody that I want to fuck because she's just got this like confidence of like, the highest of the highest. And so she just she strives for Vane a lot, and he's just like very standoffish, and he's like, I will hurt you, like you don't want me to chase after you, girl, because when I make you run and I catch you, you don't want to know what happens. And so like she kind of sees that he has Cherry, which is his like his little side chick right now, like his little homegirl that he's been messing with, and Then Cass and Bash are the twins that are from Faye, and they're Fae princess, and like they've been banished because they killed their father.
And their mom is also Tinkerbell, who also in this series is dead. Peter Pan killed her. So
Yeah. So you're not supposed to say I don't believe in fairies. And Pan was like, "Girl, you're tripping," and told her, "I don't believe in fairies," and she died. So Pan killed the Fae Prince's mom, but they still hanging out with Pan, which was kind of weird, but it made sense. But yeah. Um, so that's the gist of the boys. And then Winnie, we talked about her and like how her mom um was on the island and got her brain like scrambled pretty much, and like that's why she was a little bit crazy and nutty, and like put Winnie through bullshit because she knew that Winnie was going to get kidnapped to go to Neverland, and then she didn't really know what was going to happen to her there. So I guess she was trying to prepare her, but I mean, I don't think she knew that her daughter was going to go in there and like have relations.
I don't think she thought. I think she assumed like Winnie would be as scared as she was, since she was so afraid of Pan and so afraid of everything on Neverland. Like I think she assumed like, oh, Winnie, like you need to be prepared. You need to be warned that this is like really scary. And like Winnie did not take that shit serious like at all. Like she got there and was like, "Girl, I'm about to open up these legs and I'm about to do what I'm about to do." Okay? Like I don't care about nothing about what you're saying. These dudes are over here like fucking me good and then making me fucking pancakes after. Like
With
I
Cloudberry,
don't give a fuck about
girl.
what you're talking about, girl. Okay? I'm having the time of my life. Like Winnie was just excited to be outside. She was outside just doing whatever. She was having the time of her life. Wanted wants to stay in Neverland forever.
No, for real. Like, and I think even at the end of the book, so like they like um end up going back to Winnie's mortal world because the brownies from the Fey princes, the Fey castle or whatever, they're like little fairies. I looked them up. Brownies are weird. They were like when I looked them up, they look like little like goblin fairies.
Ooh,
So they,
that's scary.
yeah, a little creepy. I don't know if that's how they were portrayed in like the real Peter Pan or whatever, but just from what I seen, I was like, they weird. But they like go back to Winnie's mom's house and they are looking for the shadow, which Winnie is like getting her, almost about to get her brain scrambled back with by the twins sister who is now like the queen of Fae.
So pretty much Peter Pan don't have his shadow and everybody wants it because they know he doesn't have it and they know like he doesn't have the power that he would originally have. So everyone is pretty much scrambling to get this shadow because if they do, it'll make them powerful and they'll be
Right.
pretty much the one in charge. And so they're pretty much scrambling brains trying to figure out where this shadow could be, but obviously the darlings don't have any recollection of where it is. Like, and that's why the Fey princes they have their sister come and pretty much look inside their heads to see where the shadow is.
Right. And so during that time, like I think Winnie is like about to like I don't know, I think her brains are about to get scrambled or she's about to get hurt or something in vain, but his little fine ass jumps in and is like, cut that shit out. Like you're hurting her, you're not doing this shit no more. And after he pulls her out of it, she actually remembers or not remembers, but she gets like a memory of where the shadow will be. And she's like, it's back in the mortal world. And that's when they like go back and meet up with the brownies and they have like this box um that I think I don't even think she opens it there. I think they take the box back, don't they?
Yes, I believe so.
And so after they like take the box back, Peter Pan's like with I think he's with Vane and he's like, get ready to catch this motherfucker because my shadow finna come out. And they open it up and two shadows pop out. And for the first book, it was like really just a lot of story, like filler. Like, I think like they had moments where Winnie was really just hoeing it up, and like I'm not
But
opposed,
yeah, I agree.
but
It's just kind of like they're introducing you kind of more to the characters. The second book is like when shit gets real. The second book is where they're like, okay, we gave you all the filler and all the backstory in the first book. Now it's real. It's where Peter Pan is actually chasing his shadow, trying to get it back. But like she said, there's two shadows. And so that kind of stirs things up a little bit. By the way, Vane has a shadow himself. And
oh yeah,
so he already has a shadow. So Vane is very powerful already.
and it's
And
the dark shadow, right? It's not
yes,
Everland, but it's a dark shadow of his
yes.
original.
So Vane does have the dark shadow already. He's already like very powerful. Um, very, which is part of the reason why he's so standoffish to Winnie, because like he knows that he'll fall for her, but pretty much having sex with him is very dangerous because he's very aggressive. The shadow just naturally makes him like fucking a killer. And so he doesn't really want to hurt her. And so they're going trying to get the shadows. And so, like she mentioned, there is Cherry, which is Vane's little jump off or whatever. And Cherry is Captain Hook's sister.
I
But
have one word to say about Cherry. Not one word. Fuck.
but she is Captain Hook's sister. And Captain Hook had traded her. Um, and so she lives in Neverland with the boys, and that was her home. And so when Winnie comes in, Cherry is very jealous. Although Winnie is very nice to her, and she's like, wow, she's so likable. Like, she's very jealous that all the boys are giving her all this attention, and they're like so protective over her. They don't want anyone to touch her. They kind of make it a rule, like, none of the other Lost Boys are even barely damn allowed to fucking look at her.
Shoot, wasn't that the first book where Pan like
Like,
ripped his heart out
yeah, Pan ripped somebody's heart out because
when he was like sitting in his lap,
because
and
he's
he was like, that,
unhinged. This man is
"That's
unhinged.
my girl."
And so Cherry is just very jealous because she has slept with Vane in the past, but she is like she is really giving fucking what is that? Meredith from Grey's Anatomy. Like, pick me, love me, choose me.
Oh my
That's
god, not a
literally what she's giving. It's giving pick me, choose me, love me, please. Like, and it's like, girl, you are so desperate. Like, be for
she
real.
was very great.
Like,
And
she is just on her knees for this man. And like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because
I mean,
this
would you
man, but
too?
like,
But
take a hint. Like, Vane has made it very clear that he is not interested in her in the least bit. Like, he's just not. And so pretty much two shadows come out of the box, and as they're chasing them, Cherry finds one of the shadows in her room, and it cuts her, and she realizes like, oh, this is kind of dangerous. So instead of her, just being a nice person, she's like, wow, I have this great idea. Why don't I lock Winnie in here with this shadow? That would be great because I'm a bitch. And
she
so why wouldn't
royal.
I do that? And so pretty much Winnie gets home, and Vane tells her that she needs to go to Pan's room and not come out because, shit is going down. And does she listen? She attempts to, but then Cherry comes out and is like, what does she say? There's like a bird trapped in her room or something that
Yeah,
can't get out. And
there's a bird in the room,
and
and
so Winnie is so nice, of course, that she goes to help her. And then bam, my bitch is in the room trapped in there with the damn shadow.
girl, and that's the thing, like, because Vane had told her that like you need to go straight to Pan's room, like don't come out, because in the beginning of the book, when they were trying to catch the shadow, Bash like falls out of a tree and like gets his throat cut or
Like,
something.
damn near dies because these
He
shadows are not nice. They're not gentle.
Yeah,
Like, they.
Shadow like cut his throat and like literally was trying to kill him. And so Winnie actually like was like covered in blood, and she's like, I believe in fairies because like I said, if you say I don't believe in fairies, they die. So she like did the opposite, and then it ended up saving him, but at the same time it was like she was supposed to be her ass in the dungeon, and Cherry just fucked all that up, and so my girl was just
Trapped. And
she
so
was trapped.
that's how the second book ends. So the second book ends with Winnie being trapped in the fucking room with this shadow. And so then brings us to book number 3, Their Vicious Darling.
My favorite one. This
So
is
this one
number.
is so good. It has so much action in this one. There is so much going on. Winnie, so so since she was trapped in the room with the shadow, she now has the shadow. So Peter Pan, his shadow is from Neverland. Vane has the dark shadow, and now Winnie has the death shadow, which she doesn't really know what's going on with her body in the beginning, and she can't even remember what happened.
No,
It's
because that's when the wolf comes, right? And like
so
protect.
the wolf comes and is like, there's this random wolf that comes and is like protecting her, and nobody knows why. Like when they try to go near her, the wolf is like growling at them, very protective. And so
But the
Cash
wolf
and
is,
Bash, they
yeah,
remember that when they were younger, they had a wolf as a pet, and they used to sleep with the wolf like in the stables because their mom was, very fucking mean, and would made it a point that they shouldn't be outside with the wolf. And so in Neverland, there's this like lagoon, and it's like a magic lagoon, but it doesn't mean that you'll always get good things or bad things. The lagoon just kind of takes and gives what the fuck it wants. And so they think that the wolf was given to the lagoon, and now they're thinking that this is their wolf from when they were younger, and the lagoon has given the wolf back. They have no clue why or what's going on. At this point, nobody even knows that Winnie was damn near attacked by a shadow. Like, they have no clue. They're just like, she's acting really weird, and now there's this random fucking wolf in here that's watching her every fucking move.
right. So Winnie, and then what else gets introduced in this book? I think it's Croc gets introduced.
So,
Smee was
yes.
introduced last book, huh?
So we meet Croc, which is Vane's brother, and he eats motherfuckers. That's
He
pretty much
he's the man eater, ain't
he
he?
is, yeah, the devourer of men is what they call him. Yeah, he
Mm.
he eats motherfuckers, and Captain Hook is terrified of him because he ate Captain Hook's hand off. And
You know what? There's so much sexual tension between Croc and Hook.
yeah,
And like
so
those two, I said it from the get go. I was like, they need a room. And then for like, we'll go into that later, but like, they definitely needed a room. And Nikki St. Crowe, she heard me. Okay.
so they pretty much both of them dislike Peter Pan, obviously. Hook and Peter Pan are just enemies at this rate. And Croc is kind of feeling a little upset because he feels like Vane chose Peter Pan over him, and that's his brother. So, his feelings are a little hurt or whatever. And so they just naturally, Hook is terrified of Croc because he ate his fucking hand off.
I mean, I mean, would you be terrified of
And
him?
so to add a little backstory, Croc and Hook, they were both loving on Wendy, darling, the OG.
Like the great.
Yeah, so and they were both loving on her, and so that's kind of where their little beef with each other comes from.
Right. And I think this is also like the book where they kind of expose what happens to Wendy. And Hook and Croc are both like, what the fuck? Like, my girl? Like,
Yeah, they both think she's their girl. It's wild.
yeah.
This book is a wild ride.
You know what? I enjoyed it. I like the reverse harem of it. Definitely. I like how Winnie is like, she still has her like dominance at times, but she's very much submissive.
And
And
I'm like a girl's girl, so the fact that like Winnie has a shadow and is like fucking motherfuckers up, I'm
loved
here
it.
for it. Love
Lo-
it. Love
Love
it. Like she just
when they
this
took
book, they
out.
make her very powerful in this book. And like I love it. Cause I will say in the beginning it was kind of just like, Winnie's just this frail little thing and we're just gonna like love you and take care of you and like fuck you forever. Which is nice, but then
We
when you get into this book, it's kind of like she's her own person. And now, like, she also has powers just like the boys. And so she's not this little frail thing. Like, she actually, like, she can fuck some shit up on her own if she wants to. And
right,
so, pretty much going towards the end of this book, it's more Hook and Croc team up with another group of royals who are from, where are they from? Darkland too, right?
Darkland, yeah,
Yes, and so they're all trying to chase the shadow because everyone wants a fucking shadow. Jesus.
yeah, because
So
Pam
they could
still
be
hasn't caught the shadow. The shadow was on um
Hook's
Hook's
territory.
territory, and they were trading Cherry back to go and look for the shadow on Hook's land. And
Yes.
it's not like Cherry was like, "Girl, that's the whole reason why she locked her in the closet because she was like, I got to go back home, like to my brother. Like he gave me up, and like I made home here, and so like fuck Winnie for like coming over here and stealing my shine,
And ruining my life. She
right?
was
Ruining
really
my life.
upset. She was really upset. But then, like, so pretty much it's like everyone turns against Pan and they're ready to pretty much their plot is to get rid of Winnie and Vane because everyone realizes those are like his weak spots. Like, Vane is truly like his, right hand man. And then obviously, Winnie, everyone's obsessed with her. So their pretty much plan is to get rid of those two to get to Pan. So they pretty much all the fairies from the Dark Prince's sister Tilly, they all attack with Hook and his men and Croc, and they're pretty much fucking shit up. Like it's like a big ass fucking
It was
brawl.
like they were
It's
fighting
like war, pretty
there.
much.
I mean, girl, they everything was going on. I mean, Vane got stabbed by Smee, um,
So
and
Vane,
damn it,
yeah, he's dying. Like Vane is dying. And so Winnie is just by this time, her and Vane, they locked in. Like that's
oh
her
yeah,
man. That's her man,
if
her
we
man, her
locked
man.
in, ain't no switching up. Hey,
No, for real. They are locked the fuck in by this point. So she's like, my man, I will do whatever to protect my man. Rightfully
even if it
so.
jumping off a cliff, which
So she's wildin'. But pretty much the royals are like telling Winnie how if she was on their land, they would pretty much like strip her naked and like rape her and cut all her guts out, pretty much. And so they go and Winnie is like trying to get her shadow to come out so that she can kill these motherfuckers, and it's just like not showing up. And she doesn't know why because in the past it has just kind of showed up, but now that she really needs it, she's getting really frustrated because the shit ain't working. And then she pretty much tells her shadow that if the shadow, chooses her, the shadow also chooses Vane. And so as they go to knock Vane off of a cliff, Winnie jumps because she wants to save him. And then the shadow finally fucking shows up, which I was getting annoyed. I was like, damn, where the fuck is the shadow at? Like,
it's been talking to her the whole time
I'm like,
too.
my man is about to die. My man is literally about to fucking die. Like, come on. And so the shadow finally comes out, and it turns out that the shadow splits between Winnie and Bane. So now they share the shadow. So now they're even closer than before. And by the way, nobody even knew this was a thing that could happen. So after this happens, and they kill all the royals, and um, Croc ends up eating the fairies, even though he's not supposed to. He's supposed to be on their side. But pretty much, he has a clock, and when the time runs out, he has to just fucking devour people.
Yeah,
That's just what happens. And so the time runs out, and he just fucking starts eating people. Just fucking fairies, hooksmen, like whoever. Like he's just eating motherfuckers. And so Vane and Winnie are sharing the shadow, and everyone is like so shocked because it pretty much brings Vane back to life. He's completely better after he was just literally about to die.
mm-hmm.
And what else happens at the end of this one?
I think because Pan gets his shadow in this one.
Yes.
Um, and so he gets his shadow. So Pan's like at this point, like when they're fighting and stuff, he's has power. Um, Tilly is the the twins sister who again she's the Fae Queen, and like she like pretty much is like she doesn't have as much care for her brothers that like they would want her to have because like they like protected her when they were killing her father was like doing some behind that wall shit that like pretty much was going to sell her off to Hook, and so like they were like thinking they were saving their sister, so she's like, I don't care that you were saving me, like I don't fuck with y'all killed my daddy. And so she's like, Pan killed my mom, so like I like you're hanging with the enemy, you are the enemy. And so she's in there and she's really the whole reason for all of this that's happening. Like she really like gathered everybody from every world to go against Pan. And so I think after the what happens after the um war, they go back to after that they like have a little happy moment with Wendy or Winnie, and then they like wake up the next day, and I think that's the next book, which is the Fae Princess.
Yes, they Pan hears something on the balcony and he goes out to the balcony and it is Tink who is back from the fucking dead to be a bitch ass because she's just a bitch ass.
And off rip, like when I was reading this, I said the same thing Pan did because Pan was like, I cowered out and I said the same thing I said to her years ago. And that was, I don't believe in fairies. But the bitch didn't die. She just like starts fucking maniacally laughing. And it's like, girl, what?
and so
Not dead.
and so the reason she's alive is because bitch ass Tilly, who is a bitch ass because her mom Tink is just a bitch ass. She is
Yeah.
crying because she lost the war, and so she takes the throne from the castle and throws it into the lagoon. And the lagoon gives us Tink back. Since you can't choose, the lagoon just kind of gives you whatever the fuck. When she throws the throne into the lagoon, it gives us Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
And so then, Jesus, then that's just a whole.
Yeah, so with her like giving Tink back, like this book, the Fae Princess was like one like throughout the series, like we learned that Cass and Bash were supposed to have their wings, like they're supposed to be, Fae with wings and being able to fly. And they now that like Winnie has a shadow, as well as Vane has the other half of her shadow, Pan has a shadow. They're kind of sitting here like even Winnie, who's like mortal or came over here from the mortal land, has wings. Like she can fly. And they have this like little jealousy, but it's not like hating on jealousy. It's just like, damn, we kind of miss our wings. Like, so they really just, that's what they've been negotiating for with their sister, but their sister's been like not having it. So like when Tink comes back, she kind of offers her sons their wings back, like you guys can have your wings back and you guys can come back and like rule the Fae land, and like you guys can do what you guys need to do because like I believe in you guys to be rulers. But they automatically know like our mom's a fucking bitch, and like how can we even trust her? um and so they're just like, yeah, we kind of rock with Peter Pan, but like, do we give our mom like an inch so that we can actually like get our wings back, or like how should we play it? So I think they like Teak like invites them all to like a party at in the Feyland so that they can all like discuss, you know, how they're going to move forward after the war and everything that they just had with Tilly. And so they're like, okay, like we'll go back, but we don't want to, we don't want to just give in to Tink right away. Like we kind of want to like, just test the waters to see if like we can actually trust her, or like if we have to really kill our mom.
And
So
you can't trust that bitch, okay? You just can't. Let me just throw that out there. You can't. Okay,
I
I
have
don't
to
even know
say,
why they had that damn thought in their head.
Tink,
No, you
I
can't.
I wanted Tink to be like how I honestly because I've never seen Peter Pan. I've done some research after the book, but I still haven't watched the movie. But I did see that Tink was always a jealous person of Peter Pan, which I didn't know that. I thought Tinkerbell was like a sweet like little fairy that was just like cute and small. I didn't know that in the original like storyline, like there was tension with her like not liking Wendy. Like she didn't like that she wanted to be around Peter Pan. So like the fact that they brought it onto the book and like Nikki St. Crowe wrote it in that, Tink was just a jealous ass bitch, I guess was on point. Like Tink was
Mm-hmm.
she was very much jealous. But so like they go to where do they go? They go to the Feyland and like they go to a party. And in the last book, uh Winnie Darling, she like flashes on everybody in town and ends up like killing um killing everybody at this bar or whatever. And like she makes it to like the Fey Prince's like party, and she like runs into somebody that she killed, and she's like, oh, I thought he was dead. So it was like a real shock for her to be like, I'm powerful. Like I literally killed someone who shouldn't be dead. And then like even though they're back alive, like I did that. Like she really realizes like how powerful she is, which is cool because I really liked her. But
I
yeah.
just really loved this series. It was so good.
We
And let
gotta
me
go back and
say,
talk about the spice. We really have
and yeah, and I was like, this book was very spicy. Like that was the backstory because there was just so much. Since there's 4 books, there was just like so much shit going on. But
right.
the spice in this book, 10 out of 10.
So to finish
10
off
out of
the
10.
storyline, like they pretty much go to the party. They come back from the party. War breaks out because Tink like ends up stealing Winnie and puts her like in the ground. And then Vane's like, I hear her. Like I need to go to her. And then like all hell breaks loose. And so Pan loses his shadow to the princess, to the Fey princess, and then he's completely shadowless and about to die. And he ends up like meeting with Croc at the lagoon, and Croc pretty much fucking drowns him and is like, trust me, like I have an idea, but like I don't know if it's gonna be true. Like you can die or you can something. And so like he drowns Pan. Pan comes out of the water like minutes later and is like flying in the air and like bursting with light, and like pretty much finds out that he's a god, because like the whole one of his storylines is that he's trying to figure out like, is he even worthy of having a shadow and like being ruler and king of Neverland? Like does he even deserve that? And so like he ends up figuring out that he does deserve it like 10 times over because he's a god. And like yeah, so that's pretty much how it ends. Like they all end up with something. Pan ends up with the light of like just him being a god. The Fey princess end up with Pan's old shadow, which is the light shadow of Neverland. And then Darling and Vane are sharing a shadow. So everybody got a shadow, or everybody got flying power, everybody cool. So that's pretty much like the premise of the book. So let's get into the spicy part. What was your favorite spicy scene? And I wonder if it's the same as mine.
Um, Probably the one with all of them, where it
Mm.
was like everybody. And when I say like every hole was filled, I mean every hole, bitch. Like every fucking hole was filled. Okay, that was probably my favorite one.
Uh,
That was my favorite one.
I, is that the one where they're like telling her to guess who's like behind her and who's inside of her mouth?
Yeah, so they pretty much like blindfold her, and then like one is in her mouth, one is in her
Yeah,
other holes, and they're pretty much like telling her like she has to guess who is where,
that
pretty
shit.
much.
Yeah.
And that was such a good scene. I was like, damn, That's a good ass scene. And see, these books be like so unhinged because then I be thinking like, I could do that, but knowing damn well, bitch, no, the fuck you can't. You are crazy. Why are you like? I'm like, well, maybe. And then like after I'm done reading the book, I have to like obviously come back to reality.
I'm like, because I don't think I can.
But these books, they be making you think like you could do some, some superhuman crazy sex shit. Like they be getting in your brain, making you think you can. And then when I come back to reality, I'm like, be fucking for real. Be for real.
Be for real. No, for real. Because there's a scene. I forgot what book it is in because I've been reading them all together, and it's all pretty much one book. But once once Bash like ties her up to the tree,
That's
and
my second favorite.
Cass and Bash like play with her, and they get a little freaky with her. I think they both enter both of her holes. I think that's when they first like tell her like you're gonna start using all of your holes.
Pretty much, yeah. They just like double team her, and then Pan watches, of course, because he's such a
He's
watcher. He
a
just loves,
watcher.
he just loves to watch her get used. Like he really does. It makes his day. He enjoys it.
He does. He definitely enjoys it, and I'm not opposed to it because like I just feel like I could sit and do that, but like, am I really gonna do that? No. Um.
The aftercare in this on these books is so good. Like they definitely are like, I'm gonna treat you like a dirty little whore. Like we gonna slut you the fuck out. But then afterwards, like they always, all of them just take such good care of her after.
we
Like they're like, let us clean you up. Like let us get you some nice warm clothes. Let us feed you. Like I love that. The aftercare is just so great. It's not like, okay, we just used you up now. That's it. It's like
that
we
part.
it's like let us literally treat you like a fucking queen
They literally
afterwards. I
have
love
a quote
that.
that we posted on our Instagram where it said, "In the light, I will treat you like a queen, but in the dark, you will be my whore." And that quote is just so perfect because that is literally how they treat her. Like they are 100% like kings to her. They treat her like she's just the most beautiful woman in the world and that they love her. And like they literally eventually they all end up bowing to her because they look at her as the queen of Neverland now. And so like she's literally that bitch and their bitch. And
She
they
just be getting, oh my god, my girl Winnie be getting slutted out, and I'm like, yes, I love
I'm a
that
little
for you.
jealous.
Yes, I love that for her.
I'm like, oh my God.
And
So
I will say the sex scenes in this book were very well written. Like sometimes I feel like in some of the spicy books, sometimes you'll read something that'll be a little cringe, where you're like, oh, I don't really like that. But I will say I feel like all the sex scenes in these books were like written very well. Like I feel like they're very, very well written.
oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
was here for it.
They were
Oh,
descriptive. I sometimes I was sitting here like I wouldn't mind if a vine wrapped around my leg and went into places it shouldn't. But
and they're good. Like there's a good amount of them. Like although we gave you guys like a lot of backstory because there just is, it's 4 books, but there is like a lot of, there's like a really pretty good amount of spicy scenes in these books. Like
yeah,
she spaced them out really well.
she did. And they were all very descriptive and they gave you enough so that when the next one came up, it wasn't like, oh, this book talks about nothing but sex, but it gave you like, damn, like I need that next spicy spot. And it was there, it came up. And so I liked it. I liked the way that she put the spicy scenes in there. I liked the sexual tension that she put in there because there was a lot of it between her and Vane. Like the fact that she didn't even touch Vane until I think it was the end of the second book that she
Yeah,
got with Vane.
that tension was definitely there because the whole time I'm just like, man, like, are you gonna fuck her or what?
Like I will get
Like,
on my knees for you.
I'm like,
Sir.
I know you. I would literally crawl through a fucking fire for Vane. I'm not even joking. Like that man, that's that's my man. Okay.
Oh,
I'm like, so I was like waiting, like, damn. I know you want to fuck her. Like, just fuck her. It's fine. It's literally okay. So finally, when they did, it was just like chef's kiss. Finally.
yeah. And it was like it was more like I feel like with him, like I love the way I never knew that I had a kink of like being chased, but like Vane can chase me. I don't know. I'm not even a runner, but like, girl, I'm a runner. I'm a track star today because
No, for real.
he had her taken off and like that. I don't know what that like. I don't know what kind of tension that brought, but like, girl, that turned me on because what the hell? Like,
For real.
I don't even like exercise, but I would do it for because
No,
like,
but for real, it's like, be for real. Don't tell me to run because I'm gonna take the fuck off.
no, for real. And like, didn't want her to run at times, and like when he
Because he
did,
knew, he's like, girl, I cannot resist you. Like, please don't. Just please don't.
right,
And I just love that Winnie was so much like, they would just tell her stuff and she's like, I probably should listen, but I'm not going to. And
it was
I
so
and
rebellious.
I love that. Like, she was giving them a run for their money. Like, they just thought she was gonna come in and be this scared little girl, and she's just like, one, I'm going to fuck all of you. Two, I'm not gonna listen. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I'm gonna give you guys a hard time. I'm gonna grab a shadow while I'm here, just some real light. Like, she
Not
just, I loved her. I just love Winnie. I loved her so much. Her character was great.
who was your favorite like pair with Winnie? Like, who did you enjoy
Her
Winnie?
and Vane. At the towards the end, I was like, she don't really even gotta fuck anybody else. Like, I just think her and Vane just need to be a thing. Like, I was like, I mean, to me, I felt like her, Vane, and Pan would be like I love the twins, I really did, but I just feel like Pan and Vane were so like powerful, like they just
Ugh.
gave big dick energy. I'm
And they read, girl. They
like
to
they
read. Oh,
they're like, I just feel like they give that energy to where it's like they would be like a good little threesome. Her and Vane could do their do, Pan could just watch them, and it would be like match made in heaven.
yeah. Like definitely. She was like I don't know. I really liked her and Pan together because Pan was he was so caring of her. But I do agree, like Pan and Vane with Winnie was matched because like I said, they would sit in they chairs and like they read in chairs and they would sit there with their little cigarette, which I don't even like cigarettes, but they was making it sexy. And so I approve them in this book, even though tobacco's bad for y'all, stay away from it. But like they
That's my
those
perfect couple.
they
Or
gave
thruple, I should
rough.
say.
Yeah, they gave off like very sexy couple, like thruple. They just gave off sexy every time they were together, and it was just filthy. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed their relationship. So I guess you just answered your fuck Mary kill. So it sounds like you're gonna marry Vane, fuck Pan, and kill the twins.
I'm gonna have to just kill him. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. Damn.
I
I
mean,
don't want to, but I'm gonna have to.
I'm kind of like Winnie, and I want them all, but
Okay, but girl, you
choose.
can't. Marry
Okay,
one, fuck one, kill one, go. Like,
okay, okay,
damn.
okay. Well, if you can kill off two of the dudes, then I can fuck two, and I think
No,
no 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 no
not you
no
bending the
no no.
rules so you could be
No.
a hoe.
Listen,
Stop.
listen. I want to marry Vane because it's Vane, and then I would like to fuck on Bash because I know he gonna make me some food afterwards, and I like to eat. And Pan because he don't even have to be there. I don't even have to fuck him if he can watch. And I'll kill Cass.
Not you changing rules so you could be a hoe. Girl, go on. Just go on somewhere.
Well, I mean, you killed him, so at least I sacrificed one.
You ain't sacrificing. Girl, stop.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't want to kill Bash because he cooks and he cooks well. And he knows how to like tie you up in a tree really well. Like that's one thing I liked about him. He always had some rope.
They was ready to tie her up any chance they got, and I was like,
Go get
I'm
the
ready
rope.
now.
And I'm a rope girl, okay? Bring the rope. Bring something to tie me up. I don't want control. And so I completely enjoyed him being in the book.
I like that. I think overall this was definitely like one of my absolute favorite series. I love it. So if anyone is looking for a recommendation and you like a reverse harem and you like some good spice, I would definitely recommend the Never King series.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely recommending this. This is the book that, like, when people ask me like what kind of books do you read, this is the one I steer them to. Like, so far it's been this one, this series, and then the Hooked series, which I think we're doing an episode for on the 29th
Yeah.
December. So
So tune
those
in for
are,
the 29th of December. So we'll have more Peter Pan because apparently we're just into Peter Pan all of a sudden.
that's
That's our thing, apparently.
man. It's my man, my man, my man.
For real.
I'll give you Vane if I can have Peter. Okay, because I like me some Pan.
Whatever.
Whatever. Oh my goodness. I All right, guys, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for tuning in. Next week we have two books that we're reviewing from Chantel Tessier, which are The Ritual and The Sinner. So if you want to check that out, we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
And it goes a little something like you want summer and after fall.